Hello. We are almost done with Clive Barker's A to Z's of Horror. So today is R is for Rictus. This one's pretty short. Sidebar. It is part of fantastic art's condition that though time may blur its satiric purpose and confound its allegories, its appeal lies deeper than such superficial intentions. It calls us to the common ground of our subconscious, from which we may become estranged, but where we are never truly strangers. In other words, it calls us home. Clive Barker. One of the most unendurable experiences we can have goes like this. We look into a human face and see madness there. Insanity is the most pure, the most undiluted horror of all. Look very closely at the faces on these pages. For me, they are the most potent expressions of the horrors of madness, extraordinary works with an extraordinary story behind them. At the end of the 18th century, the sculptor Franz Xaver Messerschmitt produced Baroque figures for the Austrian court. Then, at the age of 35, he was afflicted with what at the time was called a psychic illness. He suffered from dementia, paranoia, hallucinations. Forced to withdraw from public life, he spent the rest of his days working on his series of character heads. These consisted of 48 busts, representing the sculptor's own head in a variety of grimacing transformations, executed in marble, lead, or plaster, which served as mementos of his encounters with the spirits that tormented him. His friend, Friedrich Nicolai, paid visits to his remote studio and recorded his impressions of the tortured man in his Recollection of a Meeting with Messerschmitt in Pressburg in 1781. These would be pretty cool to see in real life. I mean, the pictures already convey so much anguish. Sorry, that was just a personal opinion. Messerschmitt was equally remarkable as an artist and as a man. In his art, an extraordinary genius. In common life, inclined a little to peculiarity. For a long time, he couldn't understand why. In fact, Messerschmitt believed that evil demons came to him at night to persecute him. But eventually I realized that the spirit of proportion envies me for coming so near to perfection in my work, explained the artist. So the spirit causes me physical pain. To ward off these demonic spirits, he devised a system of pinches carefully combined with certain facial contortions. He would pull faces in front of his mirror and deemed himself witness to the most amazing effects of his power over the spirits. I decided to fix these grimacing proportions permanently, said Messerschmitt, an army of magical heads to protect me from the spirits. But in the corner of his room stood a rather different head, its form utterly curious and misproportioned, the face drawn almost into the shape of a beak. And the demon pinched me that time, revealed the afflicted artist. I tell you, it nearly did for me. Luckily, it let off a sudden hellish fart and disappeared in the midst of a dreadful stench, or it surely have been the death of me. Sidebar. I don't like to make a distinction between the writer and the painter. Finally, because I do both things anyway. Everybody's dreaming and trying to put down their dreams in the way that their hand knows best. I feel as much a unity, as much comradeship with painters as I do writers. Clive Barker. And that was R is for Rictus. And that last quote from Clive Barker definitely makes sense. I mean, he's a fantastic artist. There is a really great little special called The Art of Horror that might not be here. Oh, it is here. Okay. You had to, right here, The Art of Horror. You had to special order this. It was like one of those, send in your proof of purchase and then you can pay for shipping and handling sort of things. I don't remember how we found this. But, we saw it and we're like, yeah, we're buying this. Anyway, I will link the YouTube for this because it is up. And it is a great and very, very interesting interesting little documentary about how Clive Barker himself creates. I'm not an artist in the sense that I can't draw like at all. It's pretty terrible. I'm like one of those people that can do stick figures, and even then the stick figures look terrible. But The Art of Horror by Clive Barker is a fantastic little short documentary. So that was Is For Rictus. Next week we have S is for Sorceress. Oh yeah. Okay. This one will be fun. I'm excited to read this one. And I will see you next week. Bye. Thank you.